Good morning, everyone. We're going to talk about a lesson about friends today. These two are friends. It's our sheep friend and our camel friend. And I'm sure when they're out together, wandering around, they're friends. Sometimes in my backyard, I see animals, lots of animals, turkeys, and they wander around in groups. I think they're little turkey friends. This is a picture of some of my friends. And we've been friends for a long time. But in our story today, it's from Luke, and it's chapter 5, and it's verses 17 through 26. So, in this time, we're going to talk about Jesus again, and he's going to meet some people. And he met a lot of people when he would travel from place to place. And in one town, Jesus was in someone's house, and he was teaching people about God. Other people in the town had heard Jesus was a healer. And they were so excited when they found out that he was nearby. 4 of the townspeople who had a friend that was paralyzed. That means he couldn't walk. So the 4 friends knew that if they could just get their sick friend to Jesus, he would be healed. They carried their friend on a stretcher and tried to bring him into the house, but it was so crowded they couldn't even get through the door. "What should we do?" asked the one friend. "Maybe we should just give up and go home," another answered softly. No. I have an idea," said the third. "Let's take our friend up on the roof, and then we can cut a hole in the roof and lower him in." "Let's give it a try," said the 4th friend. So there's our friends. So they climbed up onto the roof of the house and cut a hole into the roof, and using rope, they slowly and gently lowered their friend into the room where Jesus was teaching. All the people in the room were surprised to see a man being lowered from the roof, except for Jesus. Jesus knew the man was paralyzed. Jesus also knew sin hurts people more than sickness. So Jesus did an unusual thing. Jesus said to the man, "Friend, your sins are forgiven." The people in the room were confused and a little angry. They thought no one could forgive except God. They didn't realize that Jesus was God's son. "Don't be angry," Jesus told them. "I am God's son, and God has given me the power to forgive sins." Again, the people were confused and now surprised. They didn't know if Jesus was telling the truth or not. "I am telling the truth," Jesus said. "I can prove I am God's son." He turned to the paralyzed man and said, "Friend, stand up." The man stood up. He had been healed. Now the people were simply amazed. The healed man thanked Jesus and carried his stretcher home with his 4 friends. Many people believed that Jesus was God's son, and they praised God that very day. They knew that if they or their friends ever had a need, Jesus would be there to heal them, to forgive their sins, and to love them. And there they are. There they are with their friend who now can walk again. So I think that during this time, one of the hardest things about having to kind of socially distance and not see each other has been that we don't get to see our friends. You used to get to see your friends every day at school. You used to get to play on the playground and maybe go to each other's houses after school. So this has been a little bit weird. It's been weird for me too. I don't get to see people that I used to see every day at work. I don't get to see people that I did volunteer work with. So it's sad and it's a little strange. But what we learned in this story, not only did he have good friends, and when he needed something, who was there for him? His friends. They realized someone was there who could heal him, and they took him there. And then, when they got there and couldn't get through the front door, they didn't give up. They thought, well, how else can we get him through the house? Well, if you think about it this way, how does Santa get into your house? He comes through the chimney, through the roof, right? They did the same thing, except they cut a hole in the roof. So they were very creative. And that just goes to show that sometimes you kind of have to think outside the box, especially when you're trying to get things done. Today, some of the lessons I have online, if you'll ask your parents to go to it, there's an art activity, and it's about an artist. His name was Jackson Pollock. So Jackson Pollock was a bit different as an artist. So you know how a lot of artists use easels to paint with and the paintbrushes, and they stand up and they paint just like this painting behind me. So that was done probably with an easel. At least I do know he used brushes because I know the artist. But Jackson Pollock used to use other things. I don't know if you can see it. That's a picture of Jackson Pollock. And he's using paint. And he dips in different things. He dips in turkey basters, and he just kind of slings the paint instead of being very meticulous about it. And what you get is something that looks like this, which is a neat painting too. So today, you and your family, I've given you an activity. You're going to get as big of a piece of paper as you can find, or you can take a bunch of little pieces of regular paper and just tape them together and put them outside on the ground. And you're going to use whatever you have. You could use sponges. You could use some piece of old cloth that you're getting rid of and dip it in the paint and paint all different things around. And once you do that, you can see what your masterpiece looks like. So try to be as neat as you can. I said to wear paint shirts and things like that so that you don't get too terribly messy, but it should be fun. You could even maybe dip some tennis balls in it and try to bounce the balls and see what designs you make. Another activity online is for you to make a 4 Friends pizza. If we were making the pizza at church, we would use pita bread, and then we would put sauce on it and some pepperoni and some cheese. So whatever dietary restriction you have, you can make your own crust, which is even more creative, or you can just do something store-bought, or you can do gluten-free. And you could put whatever it is you want on it. If you don't like pepperoni, you could do mushrooms or broccoli. I'm not sure anybody would eat broccoli on their pizza, but you could. So be creative and try that. There's also a coloring page on your activities, and there is a pulley experiment. Because if you notice, they lowered him in through the roof. So on our activity page, I posted how to make your own pulley with just like a little plastic cup. You could use maybe an old fruit cup that you finished or a yogurt cup and yarn. And you can use like what ribbon comes on, or if you have an old spool of thread that your mom's done with, or maybe what ribbon comes on, and you put a pencil through there, and then you try to make the pulley. So you'll make 3 holes in your plastic container, your little plastic bucket, and you'll put the yarn around, and you can wind the yarn around the spool and pull it up and lower it back down. It'll be on the pencil, which will make it twirl all the way around. So see if you can find something to lower. You can use some stairs. Maybe you have a deck, or maybe you have stairs inside your house, and you can go through the spindles and lower them down. So let's remember that we miss our friends, that we love our friends, and that, we can do things creatively. So maybe you haven't seen your friend in a while. Maybe you could FaceTime them. Maybe you could do them a little letter that you could send in the mail. Some of these people, we've been doing pen pals, especially with some of the elderly who are unfortunately in nursing homes and they don't get out very much. So we've been sending letters. So maybe you could draw something to your friend and ask your mom or dad to mail it. That would be fun. Hopefully soon we'll get to see each other and we can talk about our friend exercises that we did. Good luck with your family paintings. I'd love to see them. So if you can, send me a picture. You can email it to me at ce@pilgrimsherburn.org, or you can just text it to me. Thanks, and I'll see you next week.